All right, welcome guys, welcome. I'm going to be playing some Rule the Waves 3 today. I haven't played this for a little while, so I do actually have a scheduled stream of this one coming up actually in a few hours' time on either the Matrix channel, the new Matrix channel, or on the Slytherin channel. So depending on whether I can get access to the Matrix channel or not, it's just being set up at the moment. So, and with Easter, I'm thinking that most of the people will be away, so I'm assuming it may be the Slytherin channel now. Anyway, we'll find out, I guess, at that time. But I thought I'd actually just go through and start playing it a little bit as well, just to get my head back into the game. So Rule the Waves 3 really is the spreadsheet game, probably of all the games that I play. It's one where you've got spreadsheets all over the place. They have improved the game a lot over time. It already was a great game, like with what it did do. But now you've got things, for example, like the ship designer is now sort of separate back over through here. We can sort of really spend a lot of time with that one. You can do that in game, of course, as well. Maybe I will even just go and click on each of these things just so you can sort of see what they look like. So this is the is sort of building up a ship, and through this other side you can actually then change essentially like the year it's designed, and the game really goes from 1890 through to the 1970s. So you've got like a lot of scope to sort of do things in the actual game itself, and it does a good job of designing its own ships anyway. Like I can actually just go in and, for example, and just change the year. Why can't we? I set the design year. Okay, so we just need to put in a year. Let's just make it, say, a 1942 aircraft carrier as an example. So 42 back in there. Just going to click on OK. So that's 1942. I can then just give it the what I actually want it to, what class we're going to be looking at. So we've got aircraft carrier, so CV. You can also got like light aircraft carrier. Let's just go to the CV from 1942. And it will then actually have like specifications back into here as well. And I can just go and, where is it? It's one of these, open existing design or auto design ship of selected type. So if I go back across, I don't think I have to choose which country it's from or anything, I don't think. Let's just go and do it. So we just go and click on OK. And there we are. So it's actually now sort of designated this one automatically as an aircraft carrier. It does a good job of actually of then sort of building the look of the ships, and you can actually go in and actually edit all of this yourself anyway. So for each little gun that sort of then is with the main guns, anything you actually do have is going to then be positioned, on the actual ship itself. It'll actually show it all up through here. And each of the designations for the guns has got like a letter which sort of corresponds to the area on the ship, and actually then just a brief description as to where they actually are. So, for example, you've got like your secondary guns and your main guns all sort of showing in through this other side. And so you've got the port, which is the left-hand side. So if we look at, for example, D, port forward wing, one gun. So I'm guessing it's that one there, I'm assuming. I can go and edit this as well. Like you can actually go in and change the where everything actually is positioned, what the size of it is. Where is that? You've got use national deck colours. Again, you sort of got different changes there that will sort of appear depending on what you actually then go and do. Show turret arcs. This is going to just sort of really show where the main guns fire from. Show torp or missile arcs, which we don't actually have. We do have torpedo arcs, but we're not really sort of seeing that one through there. I can sort of just reduce the overall scale as I'm sort of looking at this one in here. There is a way, additional armament back into this other side, and then graphics. So you can just go and sort of start to change where everything actually is. So I won't spend too much time in here until we actually get into the game, but it's pretty good the way it sort of does work with this one. So really quite nice, just the way it sort of builds the various ships, and so it goes all the way down from destroyers. I don't think there's anything much smaller than that. You do actually have corvettes. You do actually have armed merchant cruisers as well. So there's all these different stuff, pre-dreadnought battleships, blah, 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 all the way through. But probably the smallest ship is really the destroyer. The XXX, I don't know what that is. Warning, illegal ship type, yeah. That's what it is. Okay, so that's actually sort of where we are there. If I just go and quit out of that one, yeah, that's going to then take me back into here again. So that's the ship designer. The scenario designer is also pretty cool, because this is now new in the game. Don't know if you need DLC for that one. I should check that, actually. I should check that. Let's have a quick look and see. I haven't. I normally have a look at the Steam page before I start streaming, just so that I've actually got. And I did actually do it to look at something else. Look at Rule of Waves 3. I was actually trying to do the thumbnail, and so I was going to grab the graphic, but it wasn't actually part of the graphical elements that were down in here for the thumbnail. Luckily, I had one from a previous year, so I sort of I used that graphic and then just sort of restructured it. Anyway, this is if we have a bit of a look, you see that it rates like mostly positive, 76% and 88% there for over its lifetime. It's a very, very good game, very detailed naval simulation. Yeah, there we go. Expanded Battles is the DLC. So that's really what we're really looking at today, I guess. It's funny, all reviews mixed. I can understand by that. It's at 63%. If you have a look and see why people have said that. Yeah, it looks. I always like the negative reviews because they often give you information. There are many problems here, including the fact that the custom-designed aircraft carriers in quick battles must have 8-inch guns, and that ships cannot be designed in the scenario based. Okay, I'm not sure what that's referring to. Overall, a fun DLC. However, I have one major problem. In quick battles, you make a custom carrier. It spawns with 0 aircraft. Right, that is a problem. I don't know when that was done. Well, that was 21st of March, so fairly recent, I guess. I haven't seen an update for Rule of Waves 3. Yeah, so it's the aircraft carriers are a problem at that point. But overall, what this one does is it does actually add those quick battles and so on and so forth, which I thought the negativity would actually come from the fact that they are quick battles. I thought that might be the overall problem. If I sorry, I've got my screen zoomed in for the actual game itself. It makes the game look better when I stream it. So we're not seeing the full Steam page here, but yeah, so the Rule of the Waves, the Expanded Battles is really what we're sort of looking at, and these do cost a bit, but this is a very niche game, I guess. So you can get 10% off for both games if you do like the idea of the actual game. Let's just get back into it. So we'll just go back to the game itself. So the scenario editor, this is actually now where this is what's actually changed with it. So instead of actually having to play like an ahistoric game of Rule of Waves 3, you can now actually play specific scenarios. So if I go into the scenario editor, I can sort of move anywhere I like in the world and then build a scenario. It doesn't have to be historic, it can be anything I like. So I can sort of go anywhere and just sort of zoom in and start to sort of construct. So we can even go on lakes with small groups. I've never tried that. Anyway, you've got the globe essentially where you can sort of then go and start to sort of build up the. Actually, I might just reduce that one down. Actually, just to make it so it's clean, I'll just go to another screen. There we are. So at least we've got a clean background. So in this case, we've got all sorts of different things where you can sort of go and you can actually sort of load in the ships, etc., etc. So you essentially build your own scenario in the actual game itself. There we go. There's the where all the current conflict actually is. Back in through there, so you can sort of you can set up everything that you need. That looks like a glitch back in there in the map. So anyway, this is actually the scenario. I won't play with that one. The scenarios, there's a number of scenarios that come with the game. So for example, you've got Yellow Sea in with the, I guess that this is what is the Russian Pacific Squadron sat by them in Port Arthur. Its ships steadily wearing down under siege and bombardment. And so this is actually the Japanese versus Russia back and through this other side. And I can't zoom in on this one here. Dogger Bank in the sort of like the big battle that happened in World War One. River Plate. This will be Bismarck again, I think. Then Graf Spree. There we go. The signing of the Graf Spree. Back and through there. This will be I would think a smallish scenario. There's like Denmark Strait is the actual hunt for the Bismarck. Yeah, this is the Bismarck and heavy cruiser Prince Eugene broke into the North Atlantic. So this is sort of the hunt by the British for the Bismarck and the Prince Eugene. Eastern Solomons, this would be a big battle, I would guess. This would be with aircraft carriers, etc. Guadalcanal, and then melee in the Med in 1970 in through here. So USA and Russia essentially is I guess it's just a hypothetical that's sort of been done as well. So you've got like pre-built. This would also give you an idea as you build your own. You've then got custom scenarios. I don't think that there's a Steam workshop for it, but it would be cool if there was. Again, we can actually have a quick look and see if there is. Community Hub. No, there's not. Let's have a look and see if there's anyone that's actually able to... oh, there is actually these public betas now. And I don't think I'm actually in the public beta. I might just restart before we get going. But I can still sort of show what's going on with that one through there. Yeah, I'm not sure how people save their mods. There is a bit in there. Modding guide, yeah, that's okay. There's nothing much there. Anyway, let's. I will actually go into that public beta as well, just to sort of partake in that, I guess. So that's the scenarios. You also then have a quick battle generator as well, where you can actually just go straight into play the actual battles. So this one here, we've sort of got like, you know, which player, which side you want to have. Again, what year you can choose, whichever year you like. You know, so it can be any year, and it will then sort of go in, like if you go into the fleet size, just make it like a small fleet size as an example. So Germany versus France, whatever. Like again, you've got a big choice in through here of all sorts of different countries that you can then sort of use depending on the year that you actually have. So we'll just auto-generate the fleets and go to the next step. So it's now done that one. So pick battle location. We now need to sort of pick. So I can just go and pick battle location pretty much anywhere I like. Let's just make it up in there, for example. Pick side A home, so I'll just make that one sort of back in here somewhere maybe. And pick side B home, back in here. I can, so this is where they would be trying to sort of retreat to. So I can sort of just have like what's going to happen with the actual battle itself. We just go continue. And then I've got like the various sort of ships that were then auto-generated. So if we're playing as the, we've got the enemy side as well with their different ships. So these were auto-generated ships coming back through. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water, be right back. Hi, Paluco, how are you going? And Falcon saying, oh, good, I haven't seen this, so unplayed and wondered about it. Are you wondering more about the base game or about the actual DLC or a bit of both? Because I can sort of show you all those different bits and pieces. Hi, Invictus, how are you going? Saying, always good to see you, good sir. Thank you for that one. So anyway, this is it's a very niche game, by the way. Like it's sort of not, it's not going to be for everybody. But anyway, these are the different ships from the player side and also from our side. So we've got like 4 battleships, for example, you know, the Brandenburg. And so these are different, they've got different, you can see they've got different tonnage. And so these are Brandenburg class, these are Hessen classes back and through here with the different ships that were then sort of designated for us. We can go in and redesign the ships, I'm guessing. So if I just go back into here, can we build that one up easily? Probably not. I won't, in that case, I won't do the ship design. I thought I could actually maybe go and edit this. Oh, here we go. New division, remove ship, add ship, division data, expand all, design a ship there, ship details. Here we go. So this is the, this is what it looks like. This is the, essentially a pre-dreadnought, I would guess, in this era, or even a dreadnought sort of class. So it is a German battleship. We've got 4 12-inch guns, 12 6-inch guns, and 16 3-inch guns on the actual ship itself. And when you design a ship, you can generate a picture as well, like when you actually do design them. And it's pretty cool the way it does work. So these have got 4 submerged torpedo tubes as well on the actual. Some of them are deck launched, some of them are submerged. It does have fire control, a central rangefinder. This is the various armour on the actual ship. So we've got 9.5-inch belt, sort of midships, 2-inch deck armour, 10-inch turret armour, 6-inch battery armour, so the small batteries, and then the 12-inch conning tower. So the towers and the essentially the rangefinders and things like that are all sort of essentially sort of got like 12-inch. So these are and as you play the game, you do end up with a ship history. So in January of 1897, laid down in Great Britain as the battleship Brandenburg is this make-believe ship. Essentially what we have. So the battle type that we have. So this is actually just I should be able to redesign these, which I do always like to do. Battle size, if I just go into, say, a small battle, and then just go into, so this is a battle type. I've got like fleet battle, battleship engagement, cruiser battle, or light forces, depending on how you want to sort of structure these quick missions. Let's go with battleship engagement here, and so I can just sort of show you how this one does work. And we'll just go, but it's only going to be a small one, which means it's probably going to be one of the battleships and maybe a light cruiser or something like that, along with a destroyer or two. So let's just go to battle. No ships selected for friendly force. Okay, I'm just going to auto-select. I'm going to auto-select. Actually, there's a lot more there than we thought. So that is a battleship. Let's just go to something smaller. Let's go and auto-select that one and auto-select for the enemy. So in this case, we do actually have some different divisions that have been placed in. We do have the coastal forces back in through here. If I look at the enemy side, do we get to see what they've got? Yeah, they've got a light cruiser division and then a destroyer division. So that's what they're bringing into the battle. And we've got ourselves the light cruiser division there with 3 light cruisers and a number of different destroyers. So that's pretty much all we're going into the actual combat with. Hi, Heart of Mithril. Falcon's the same game in general, but how it plays will become clear as you play the DLC. Well, not really. The DLC moves forward away from all of the actual, it bypasses the actual game. The game itself is actually more about managing, the premise for the base game is that you are not the supreme ruler of a country making decisions about your ships. You are like Lord of the Admiralty, essentially, if you're thinking of Great Britain. And so all you can do is you can influence Parliament and you can influence history through your actions, but you can't directly say, I want this, this, and this. You have a bit of a say to do with the Navy, but the actual politics is sort of outside your control. So the game plays the political machinations itself with you just having an influence on them, which is really quite interesting. So it means that you to declare war, you can sort of create scenarios or situations politically where it puts pressure on your government to declare war, or on the enemy to actually declare war against you. And so it sort of you end up escalating. I'll show you that when we get into the actual game itself. Anyway, let's just go to battle. So it now zooms in on the actual ships themselves. And so this is sort of like where you ultimately end up playing the game, as with these. And so the DLC bypasses the game part of it and just plays these. And so what this is we're paused at the moment. So game speed is just going to be on normal. I've got different overall game speeds. I'll just keep it on normal for now. That will be fine. There's a whole lot of stuff that has been added to the game as well over time, like just little user interface things as well. It's an ugly looking game, so just be aware of that. But it does actually have, it's very, very functional with what it does do. As I zoom in on these ships, I can start to see what their names are. We can sort of see there the actual ships themselves. If I have them, I can lock in the various sort of ships as I sort of go to each one of them. I can click on each one of the ones that I have and see the smallish area there. I can also zoom right in on the actual ships themselves to see what they look like. So this is actually the Stetton, for example. And so I can go right into the deck that was actually then designed for the ship. And so when we're fighting in the actual game itself, all of the guns, maneuver. The ones that can fire, well, they've all got fields of fire. They'll actually they'll arc around, etc., etc. Now, at the moment, we have no visual on the actual enemy, but if we just keep on going in the direction that we're traveling, then that's going to be okay. So I can zoom in on any of the ships, and we can start to see as damage occurs on our ships, we get a full damage report. On the enemy ships, we don't. It's sort of like fog of war. We can see fire. We can see extra smoke. We can see it sitting sort of like, worse off at the waterline. But it's only ever played from this top-down view. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and there's a whole lot of stuff I'm here, which we'll talk about when we get into the actual game. I'm just going to press the space bar. There is actually if you go into the preferences, what I have turned on is the spacebar pauses and restarts. That's a handy one if you're just used to doing it's a real-time game, sort of. So I'm just going to click on OK. There's a few other little things that did turn on there, by the way. Pause on hit on any ship. So any ship that receives a hit is going to pause the game just so we can evaluate the hit. That may be overkill, but I do like to do that. Which is, I do like overkill in games. Anyway, let's just go and unpause the game. And because I've got that spacebar, I can just press the spacebar. They're all just going to go off. And so they generate their own smoke. So the stacks create smoke. The smoke can create a screen. So ultimately, and you also then do have the ability to do different things with your ships. I'm just going to let them, they're obviously been pushed, they've been given instruction before the scenario started to sort of travel down towards the south. So let's just keep it going this way. Unknown ship has been sighted, so I'll just go and click on OK in through here. So if I click on OK and then zoom out, there's a ship over here that has been sighted. So we've got like a little blip, and that's probably only visual range. And so when we have a look at this, we've got different things. We can show the sighting ranges back and through here. We're not really sort of seeing them so much at this stage. If I just go and we're not going to sort of see them too much. This is the light cruiser Undine. So we've got the what will ultimately show up when things start to kick in is the sight range, the main gun range, the torpedo range. So we're going to see those. It's very important to stay away from torpedoes in the game. Show the radar range if we've got radar. We don't have air or missile ranges, so we don't have to turn those on because we're not playing late enough in history for that. So these are just the things that you sort of almost set and forget. There's other things as well, like this has been turned on. Show the fire lines. If the ships are firing at each other, with that one selected, we're going to see which ships are actually targeting each other. And then we've got show the enlarged inset view, which is this one here. So we can actually have a ship that we keep track on our side, just to sort of watch to see what actually does happen with it. With the bigger ships, they're going to fill up this area a lot more than what we are seeing at this point in time. I don't know if I can change the zoom in there, which would have been probably a little bit better to be able to do that one, but there's no real way. I can only really sort of zoom in here. You can see there we've now got the unidentified ship. To maneuver around, you've got this little shortcut help, and so this one just comes up and tells you how to play the game. So Q is the less than symbol. Run the game for 5 minutes if enemy sighted. So 60 minutes if not. So we'll pause a new sighting. So essentially it's going to. So if we've now seen this ship, so Q will then just keep on. It'll go for 5 minutes of game time, and it'll travel pretty fast when it's doing that one. You then actually have 1 to 9, just run that many minutes. 0, run the game until sighting. So we've now got ourselves a sighting basically. Enter, run the game until sighting as well. So they're both the same. C is increase the game speed. V is decrease the game speed. Sometimes you want it to be a bit slower, just so you can sort of drink in what's going on. And sometimes you want it to go really, really fast if there's really just nothing happening. Order the flotilla attack of the force on the selected division. So F is like a fire command. The mouse wheel is zoom. X and Z is also zoom as well. Left click on division flag is to select the division. And then these are the important ones. Shift and left click on the map to set the course of the selected division to point. So control and left click on the map, set course of a selected division to point and run until the division gets there or a new sighting. So right click on a ship is the info about the ship, and right click on division flag is division order. So there's a lot of stuff that you can actually then go and do. Let's just go and now the division orders that you'll sort of see. We've got this one here, for example. This is, there we go. Now with that selected, we can see the various ranges that we actually have. So the ship that we saw is way out over here. If I start to turn these things off, the torpedo range is very, very small. So that's very, very close. The main gun range is out to there, and the sight range is out to there. So I need to get whatever that is, into this range. And there can be non-combatants as well, like with the way it sort of does work. But this will be my main fleet. And if I go and right-click on that, I then get the information about the fleet. So it's going at 14 knots. The course is 145. Again, I can change that, or I can actually pick the course from the map. So different ways of doing things. They have improved this a lot, I've got to say. You can then set up your different roles as to how you want things to sort of then go, make smoke. So you can actually give direct orders to the actual divisions. So the ships can be managed individually. They can be managed as part of these divisions. So these are this is the current speed of the various ships. What damage they've got, whether there's any flooding, various hits, the guns, etc., etc. This is the lead formation, and so I've actually got, for example, the lead formation is this one, so we don't have to choose anything else. The role is it's independent, so I can actually have it so that it's got specific features that it's going to then do if it's AI controlled. Formation is just line ahead, so you can just play it where you just watch the AI play it out if you're wanting to. We don't have a commanding officer in this particular group. So anyway, let's just go and click on OK with that one. If we have a look at this other one, select it and then right click on this one. This one is the lead formation is the German light cruiser division with the light cruiser Undine is actually the flagship, and this one has been set as a support role, which is AI controlled, so I don't have to worry about these destroyers. The AI will do that for me, and so they are just literally going to do that support role for the other division. So if all I need to do is just go back to this division, and then I can just go back in and just do a shift. I'm going to start to head down towards that ship, for example. So if I just go and press shift and then just do a right click, you'll see that this now changes. I can then just do it that way, and then if I then unpause, they will then start to move in around towards where I just did the little click. It's now, looks like we've now maybe sighted something else, unknown ship. Let's just have a bit of a look around. Yeah, I've still only got the unidentified ship. Let's just unpause. Still only got the one. So I'm pressing space each time. Now that one is going to get very close. There's no collisions, don't worry. It would have, there would have been a collision. So these are just sort of threading back and forwards. If I just, here we go, another unidentified ship has now been has been brought in. We'll just close the gap, so let's just press Q. And we're now seeing we're now identifying light cruisers. So this is, and we've now identified this one as the Devout. I'm now going to change the order to intercept. So shift and then just a left click, and it will then sort of go off in that direction. I'll just keep on pressing space. Again, I can do the changes for run the game until sighting. Q is sort of like it's going pretty fast with everything. As we're making identifications, I think it's all the pausing that I've got selected for it. I'll just keep it going with this one through here. So we're getting closer. They may run because we may outclass them. Anyway, the ships will just continue on. I won't keep on playing this one here, but you get the idea. Basically, you end up in a combat. We'll see that as we sort of get into the actual game itself. These are making a run for it, which is making me think that because we've got 3 light cruisers and they've only got 2, it's actually not good enough for them, so they're going to disengage, which is something that actually happens in the game. So that happens a lot. Anyway, that's the combat, sort of. The combat's become a lot more involved. And I will, we'll just get rid of that one. Leave battle without finishing. Yep, okay, so we won't worry about that one through there. So that's a lot of the new stuff that's come with the DLC. We'll go to a new game. I'm just going to turn my air conditioner on. It'll be 1 second. All right, so the actual game. You've got 4 different ways of playing the game. Like you've got the 1890, which is the pre-dreadnoughts. So this is actually sort of like pretty much at the end of the Age of Sail. You are getting the ironclads in this era. So you're sort of like going from like an ironclad sort of area where the ships are becoming much larger, but still nothing like what we sort of see from about the 1920s onwards. So in this one here, you are playing with you've still got like steamships, you got sailing ships, you got ironclads, you've got pre-dreadnoughts essentially. The 1900s is really the pre-dreadnought era. 1920s is the start of naval, the aerial side of things. So you're sort of getting like the ability to have some aircraft in the actual game itself. And then 1935, this is the other start location here, is really just pre World War II. So they're the different starts. This one here, you definitely have aircraft carriers. Like if you actually play as this, so any of these that you actually then end up playing, you've got different nations you can then go and decide to play as. It always sort of shows Europe. Because there's a lot of compression into the European sort of side of things. Plus, you then have a few other countries you can then go and play as. But we won't play that one. We'll just cancel that one. Just go into new game. I always sort of like the pre-dreadnoughts, to be honest. Just sort of around either 1890 or 1900. It sort of makes it's easier to understand the building of the ships and how they actually work. Let's just go to a 1900 start. And depending on who we choose as well, will actually then dictate, just how difficult it is to actually play and how complex it is. One of my favourites to play is Italy, simply because it's a smallish nation. It's a difficult nation to play. Spain is worse as well. If I go and click on these, we see different things. Italy has a mid-sized navy and decent economy. With no worldwide obligations, it can concentrate on keeping a good force in the Mediterranean. So we're only worried about the Mediterranean if we play as Italy, which is actually nice. For example, if you play as Great Britain, there's a large navy and a good economy. It also has many colonies, worldwide obligations, and many potential adversaries. Britain is not hard to play, but could be overwhelming if this is your first game. It's just the scale of what Great Britain has got is just way too much. By the way, the game is not played on this little map. The game is played in a global map. So if you are playing as one of the great powers like Great Britain, maybe France as well, will actually also have areas of the world that it really does need to look after. And so if that's the case, you have to allocate ships to go off and do those jobs. And you have to design ships to be able to go and do that as well. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. So in this case, so Great Britain is a hard one to play as a new player. France has a mid-sized navy and decent economy. It also has many colonies and needs to plan for conflict both in the Mediterranean and on the high seas. Now, again, like fighting in the Mediterranean means that you're not fighting with big waves, you're fighting with small waves. So if your ships are designed for fighting in the Mediterranean, it means that you can put more on them because you don't have to be concerned about waves washing over and causing issues. If your ships have to be designed to fight out in the open ocean, you then actually have to cater for that in your ship designs as well. So it's very, very intricate the way it sort of models these. So France is an interesting one as well. There's all these different bonuses and things like that as well, which I'll talk about as we sort of get into it. Spain is a hard one to play. So Spain is a small navy and poor economy and technology base. So they're behind everyone. Playing as Spain is a challenge and not recommended for beginners. So this is a tricky one because everything you are behind in everything. You're behind in tech. You're behind in the number of ships. So if people go to war with you, you're not going to survive really until you can sort of do everything to to actually really to revolutionise your economy, to actually sort of make it so that it becomes more viable. So we've got that one through there. Italy I do like because you're only interested in the Mediterranean. You're only building ships that have to fight in the Mediterranean. So it just means that you can do what you have to do in a nice little way. So I think this is a really, really good one for beginning players. You've then got Germany back in through here as well, has a large navy and good economy and technology base, has a limited number of colonies and is a manageable nation to play. So it's not a bad one to play as Germany. Maybe that would be a fun one to play as well. It just means we have to manage more with what we do. Actually, Germany wouldn't be too bad. You'll sort of see also there's a whole lot of stuff in here. We'll have a look at that in just a minute. You also have Austria-Hungary as a smallish navy, but on the other hand, it has no worldwide commitments. Only needs to keep a navy that can operate in the Mediterranean. So they can actually they can challenge Italy in the Mediterranean, back and through here. And you can do a comparison to sort of see, okay, what have they got? They're a limited democracy. The build area is the Mediterranean. The naval budget is 64,000. They're cautious. The dock size is 1,300. These guys here, the naval budget is more, so it's actually 89,000. They're cautious, poor education, which means that their tech is going to fumble with the Italians. Inconsistent naval policy. Actually, maybe playing that would be fun to fight with Italy and just for the Mediterranean. Inconsistent naval policy back and through here as well. So things will then chop and change from the government. There's some corruption as well, which means that you have to then promote certain officers that you may not want to. So it sort of models all this stuff. And then the dock size is 15. So we've only got a dock size there of 13,000. They've got a dock size of 15,000. So they've got another 2,000 tonnage that they can put on, like when they build their own ships. The research advantage they end up having is in ship design overall. Triple turrets, the motor torpedo boats, and the motor bomber FFF, which is a torpedo. These are a lot of these come later on in what actually does happen. The motor torpedo boats are the precursors to the destroyers, so they have a bit of an advantage in the early destroyers and also the coastal boats, I guess. So they've got naval guns. So sometimes there's some missing. They're fine all the way through. This one here, we only have 11-inch guns, and you can see we don't have 8-inch guns. So we're missing the 8-inch guns and the 12-inch guns. So what we end up having is we have a research advantage ultimately in torpedo technology and bonus tech of triple turrets as well. So playing Austria-Hungary would be a little bit tricky. Russia has a decent navy but is handicapped by a low technology base, and so this is why they essentially lose the war against Japan. So they've got like a dock size which is bigger than what we'll end up playing, more of a naval budget. Hi Began, how you going? But these all play a role, with what does go in. Japan back over through here starts with a small navy and weak domestic shipbuilding industry, but has a rapidly growing economy and good prospects for growth. And so this is sort of like the build-up. So they've only got a 10,000 is where they start, but they do actually have, like they've got little things like, for example, kamikaze attacks if fascist and losing the war. So there's all sorts of stuff that end up sort of coming into what they end up having. They are even further behind. But let's just go and USA, of course, will actually be will be sort of now vying as a large navy and rapidly growing economy, good technology base, and the game is ahistoric, which means that you start off in 1900, and everyone is sort of like as on equal footing in terms of their diplomacy with everyone else. And so you, like Great Britain and the USA, could go to war just as easily as, or probably not just as easily, but there's a chance that they could end up at war. For example, it could be that Germany and USA sort of end up forming an alliance and doing other things. Ruts are saying, would have loved to have played Sweden. We have a lot of coast. Yeah, they don't have Sweden in the game. They have a few other countries that come in depending on when you start. Like this, I think, is Qing China. This is like the Dowager Empress, for example. Incredibly difficult. Like this is the dock size of only 4,000. Endemic corruption, poor education. So these are really, really struggling. They've only got up to 8-inch guns. But let's go and play as Austria-Hungary. That way you get a bit of a feel for how it does sort of play. Custom nation, I don't know what that is. I don't know how that one then goes and works. So I'm guessing, again, it feels like there's modding abilities. So maybe Sweden could be in the game, like if it was modded into it. So the opponent nations back into here, that's who we're going to be up against. So all of those, I don't know if I can't turn them on or off, so that's okay. We'll just go and click on OK and through here. So now we set the game up. So your name is Montecuccolo. Cuccoli is going to be the actual is the persona for our admiral. I'll just make that. This is actually I'll just call it DasTactic. So in this case, what we end up having is we have our name. This is the name of your game in the persona, who is sort of like the first lord of the admiralty. We're going to choose Game slot number 1. The fleet size, again, I'll just keep it on medium. That would be okay. Determines the scale of the game and how many ships you will handle. For your first game, you're recommended to play, to set this no larger than medium. I might even go small, and just so we've got it there. Historical resources. Now these here, there's little tooltips usually as you click on these. I won't do that. I'll just keep that one off so that we can play ahistorically. The research rate, this is the percentage of as you do research. Options to slow down technical progression, make it more, and this one here. Normally in the game, resources are higher than historical for smaller nations, so it'll just balance it out a little bit better. The tech variation, this is just how much the tech will then sort of vary as you sort of are doing the technology. I like to have harsher peace deals on. It just means peace treaties can be harder with more territory lost. So that's a good one. I won't play with AI advantage, so 10% budget advantage to AI nations. Slow aircraft development, I tend to play with that one on as well because I do just like the ships, to be honest, personally. Maximum airbase size, set this to 40 or 60 if you want to dial down the power. Yeah, so let's actually do that one. Let's just change that one to say 50. So just put a 50 in there. And manual build of the legacy fleet. Now, if we do that one, we're going to end up being caught for a long period of time. So, but you may want to do that, because that will then allow you to restructure the game exactly the way you want to play it with the ships. So you can purpose build the ships for all sorts of different things. But let's just go in with that one through there. Now the game user preferences, this is actually again what we saw there before. I'm just going to click on OK. That's all good. So let's go and click on OK. So this is now, it's now generating the initial fleets for everyone. So everyone gets random fleets. And I'll just explain how this, what the screen is actually looking at. And this is now, we're getting into spreadsheet territory here. So you have two different ways of looking at the game. You actually have a dark mode, which is what this is, and a light mode, which is what the old default was. This is much easier on the eye. So I much prefer this one. They brought this one in sometime. Actually, you know what we were going to do? So I'm just going to go and change. I'm just going to move that one back for a second. I'm just going to go back to my Steam library. I'm just going to go and opt in to that the other one. And we've got rule the waves. So I should just be able to go back into here, go to properties, go to game versions, and I've got yeah, so the beta here. I'll play the beta version, the public beta. So it came out in March 27th. So that's still before other people were having those problems, but let's just go with that one there. So we'll just keep that one going. That's just been loaded in. That's good. And so we're now playing the beta version. Close that one down and open up Rule the Waves 3 again. And we probably won't get to play much of this, but I will then be playing for another couple of hours on either the Slytherin channel or the new Matrix channel. So just go to new game, 1900s, Austria-Hungary, click on OK. Small in through there. Research rate, that's okay. Harsher peace deals. Slow, 50 there. Game slot number 1, away we go. Right, so we are here. There probably won't be much change. Oh, I don't know if you noticed before, these bars have changed from what they were when we just started. This is actually, as I said before, this is completely ahistoric the way it sort of does work. But what's interesting with this is that we actually have growing tension with Italy already. So the tension with Italy is at 6. So just going through the way the screen works, these are all my different ships, and we will have to get used to them. They're all in the Mediterranean because that's actually where we start off, so this makes it much more manageable. We'll come back to what each of these actually is and how they then sort of operate. If we have a look at the various, this over through here is the diplomacy panel, and so I can go in and have a look at each of these. So we've got, for example, the tension with Great Britain is 3. This is showing up in green. These aren't too bad. Then we've got the tension with Italy is 6. That's going to be our main, the one that we're going to be mainly sort of working against. Russia will have also a presence, I think, through Sevastopol, I think. we'll have to sort of, so I may have to monitor them. They're also, tensions have risen with them. Germany we're friendly with, USA we're friendly with, and and so same with the others back and through there. We're not seeing China there for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe they're just not. It's not really important at this part of the game. The other thing we can then go and do is we can go and click on the actual grouping in through this other side to see exactly what's going on with the various countries. So I can actually go to look at to see them all in through there. I can then actually just click on all of them, have them all selected to see exactly what battleships, for example. So we've got 3 battleships. Italy has got 4. They've got 2 that they're building at this stage. So if we're trying to keep up, in fact, I won't do this. I'll just go to Italy itself. So they've got 4 with 2 building in the battleships. The armed cruisers, they've got 2 with 1 building. We've got 2 as well, but we're not building any at this stage. The light cruisers, they've got 6. We've only got 3. So you see how we're behind them. They've got 9 destroyers with 5 more being built. We've got a heap of destroyers, so we've got a swathe of those. They've got 1 corvette. We've got 1 corvette as well, called the Elephant. And coastal batteries, they've got 6 aircraft types and nothing at all. And again, we just get a bit of a summary as to what they then go and do. If we know what ships they've got, we can then sort of see what's actually happening there. So they've got they're building bigger ships than us. They've got some that are up to 1,500, like 15,000 tons. And so these ships in here, I don't know if I can actually double click them. We do get a bit of a picture as to what these ships actually are. So the Lepanto can travel at 20 knots. This is what we know about the ships. Some ships we're not going to know about. New ships that get designed, we're going to be we're going to be in the dark about that. So the game designed these. So these are not historically accurate, but that's a big ship. It's like 15,000 tons. They've got 2 that are also 11,000. If we have a quick look at these guys, this is what these ones look like. This is the Enrico Dandolo. The armour is just 7-inch belt armour on these, and they've just got 10-inch guns, so they're not super powerful. What do these have? These have got 4 12-inch guns, so two aft and two forward, essentially, which can actually, it looks like they're on turrets, so they can do broadside. So this is actually this is going to be a very, very difficult ship to destroy. They've got 9.5 belt armor. So just getting a bit of a feel about what the Italians are like. We're going to need to somehow get ahead of them, and it's going to be difficult. So that's why playing Italy is actually not too bad. So with our ships, we've got just 10,000 tons in through here. So double click these. We've got 3 9-inch guns, 12 6-inch guns. So we can't really compete gun-wise for what the others have got. We probably almost have to treat these as cruisers rather than as battleships, because just they're not that great. They're going to struggle in the actual fights. So we're going to have to try to get other advantages. We do have good armor all the way across across everything. So we've got the belt armor of 8.5 inches, but we actually have deck armor. The other ones don't have that. So the Italian ships could be they could take more damage than us, ultimately, depending on what sort of shots do come in. We've got so that's the Herzog Karl. Then we've got the Arpad class as well, which has actually got 4 10-inch guns. So not the same as the 12-inch guns, so not as good, but again much better armor than the Italian ship from what we know anyway. The other thing that actually then goes on in this one, and I don't want to spend too much time with this, but we have like a maintenance cost, of course, going into what actually does go on. We've got there should be commanders, but just go to ships under construction. Yeah, we've got actually 1 battleship, the Steinmark, is being built, which is another Arpad class. Not great. We can go and ask, like, for example, we can commission Great Britain to build one for us if we wanted to. No submarines, coastal fortifications, we've got a few of those around. Area overview, so this is actually where we're really operating only in the Mediterranean. It is a spreadsheet game, as I said before. These are the different bases that we end up having. If you end up at war, you can start to lose territory, and this is where the territory is then sort of shown. It's also shown on the map. These are the officers. And so these are, this is von Bizard, is an admiral. It's commanding the Mediterranean station. We've got captains. So we've got, we've got the 3 battleships with the various captains in charge of those, and we've got the armed cruisers as well. So we've got like different captains in through here, how many years of service they've got as well, and we don't know what their abilities are just yet. So we will only know that when we start to get into combat, and they can have a bearing on the battles as well. And this is probably the advantage we're going to have over the Italians. And then fleet organisation, we don't really going to worry about those just yet. We'll just go back to the map. This is the world, of course, and so you've got sort of like the all the different areas. The only area we're really interested in is the Mediterranean. And so this is actually the area that we're going to be sort of focused in, because that's all we have to operate in. So if you are playing Great Britain, you have to be really looking anywhere where there's a little British flag. You need to have at least a way of having a presence there. So this map area of the Caribbean has got 1 British armoured cruiser and 2 light cruisers, and so they've actually got they've got a presence back in through that one through there. Again, anywhere where there's you've got a presence, you need to have you need to have the ability to get ships out there. So in Southeast Asia, you've got Great Britain, France, USA, Japan are all sort of vying for that region. The Japanese homeland areas, you've got Great Britain, Germany and Japan in there as well. So there's all sorts of different areas. Again, USA has got the presence back in through the Pacific. So there's a whole lot of stuff where the great powers do need to be mindful of what they're doing. The Mediterranean's got a lot going on in it, which we don't really need to be looking too much. And then each of these little ports and things are where we've got, where there's ways of, like Pola, for example, is I think our capital. And actually Spalato. So these are sort of areas that we need to, this is where our shipbuilding will incur as well. And so if we end up going to war with Italy, they can take over some of these territories. So these territories do come into play. Are we going to see, no, Sevastopol isn't modelled there. So we won't have to worry about the Russians so much, I don't think. It'll mainly just be the French and the Italians, ultimately, that will sort of, and the Spanish, potentially. So that may be something that they end up sort of doing. But anyway, that's you can see Austria-Hungary, Great Britain and Italy are all sort of vying for pressure in through there. With it does have a rating. If I hover over there, you can see that Italy is 81. We're only rated at 66. And if I just go and click on that one through there, we can then sort of see the full report on the Mediterranean. There's just heaps of stuff in here. The ship details as well as sort of what we have in that region. So it's very, very detailed game, the way it sort of does work. So going back down through the actual way that you play the game, I can design my own ships, which I probably won't have time to really do that one. You can build ships. I'm not going to do that one just yet because I'm not really all that happy with what we have. I'm probably going to end up building cruisers more than battleships. We've got research where we can actually sort of go in. We've got priority levels for different things as well. So this is actually what we would then sort of try to get. The 11-inch guns, I would like to get those. I'd like to get the 8-inch guns as well. So I can sort of go and make this like a high priority to try to get this one through here, to get those in through that side. We have an advantage with torpedoes, so I'll make this one high as well. And if I go into details, so early gyroscope, torpedoes now have extra range, improved torpedo aiming systems. Torpedoes are more accurate, so that's going to be good for us ultimately. Ship design, improved design calculations. I'll just leave it there. This is the level that we're on at this stage. So, for example, Spain would be on 0s and 1s all the way through there. But this is actually giving us a little bit of an advantage when we build our ships. So there's a lot that does go on here. Just go and click on OK. Yep, so this is the research budget, percentage of the total budget. Might just up that a little bit. This will then come out of my money. So if I just go and click on OK over here. So what happens is we actually have like a yearly budget of 58,000. As tensions rise, that will then rise as well. The government will give us more money. And now we have to spend it as well. So, excuse me, monthly budgets of 4,000. We have to sort of try to manage this with the maintenance and construction, etc. I think I'll just keep it where we've got it. We've got some funds in through there at this stage. I do want to sort of start to the dock size. I want to build this up so we can compete with Italy. So the largest shipyards can build. Also use the basis for total shipyard build capacity. So I'm going to go and build that. So increase your dock size. So spend 540 per month for 12 months to build a larger docks. Yes. So we want to get that one building. So in 1 year we're going to be larger. We'll be at say 14,000. And so I don't want to start to build the big battleships until we actually get better dock areas. Tonnage for foreign stations. This one here is required tonnage of ships here. So we don't have any foreign stations, which is why it's easier to play it. The foreign stations are the colonies. Fleet morale is 0 and prestige is 20 at this stage. Prestige really is, if you fall too low, below 16, you actually lose the game. So you've got to manage the prestige, of the Navy, and if the prestige drops, then you'll be sacked. Okay, so that's research. We had a look at that one. Doctrine is sort of like what we are wanting our ships to go and do. I won't worry, I might go training priorities and actually just go 20% increase in maintenance cost. So 192, we'll apply that just so we sort of start to get that one. So we'll actually get that one training up. This is the doctrine we have for where we are. Now we're not going to worry about these. Use a scout force. It's okay, we'll leave that one where that is. Everything else there is fine. I won't spend too much time with this. Messages come each time. Mobilization. Put all ships in reserve and mothballed into active service. I can actually mothball ships if I'm needing to save. In fact, it may be an idea to do some of that one. Could put everything into reserve, so put all the active ships in home areas in reserve. Fleet exercise. This one here will actually improve our ships a little bit. So show history, back and through there. Preferences are just going to be, again, that same pause on this or that. And then the shortcut help, we sort of saw that before when we were actually in the game itself. Now these are hotkeys for this portion of the game. So next turn, move selected ships, put selected ships in the active fleet. R, put selected ships in reserve. T, put selected ships on trade protection. F, put selected ships on foreign station. D, select all ships. So I'm going to go and put some of the ships on reserve. So let's just go back to ships in service. And you can see they're all in active, so active fleet. So actually, I'll keep them all active at this stage. It takes a while to bring them out of to spool them up into being an active fleet, and their crew quality will also diminish if they're not kept active. We could go and do a fleet exercise just to sort of try to keep everything sort of moving through. Like if we go into this one through here, we can then sort of do the actually pick a force. Now these can, if we just go back into the friendly main force, the enemy main force. I don't think I'll just put in that one through there. Just add that ship across. I must select a division. Sorry, I haven't done this one for a long time. Friendly main force division 1. We'll just go new division in through there as well. And if we just make it sort of like so that we're going to have like a bit of a test to sort of see how these will then go. We'll add one of those into that particular group. We'll go to this one here and add one of the ARPAD classes. And we can then sort of just go in and add in also maybe the battle division. We'll put in the Admiral Spawn in through that side. And so they're going to be the bigger ships. So let's go and add in, for this particular one here, we'll just go and add in 2 of the light cruisers. That'll do. Because we're not at war with anyone, so we can just go and do this one here. We'll just go and click on OK. Hang on, that's independent. Division data. Roll. Actually, it won't really matter. I'll just have them as core, and I'll do this one. I'll do this one as independent. It's not going to matter that much. Actually, no, I will change it. So this one here, we'll just make this one into core as well. Not that it really is going to make that much difference because it's just such a small battle. We'll go in daylight, good weather, and the start range will just be classic. So we'll just go and click on OK. So this is going to cost me a fair bit. So this is just, but this will actually aid the training. Again, we've got no threats coming in, so we'll just go continue. Yes. And so now we have a smallish battle that'll just take place. I'll go through. In this case, we've got like a very controllable battle where we've got like the this particular group is now sort of coming back through. We've got the Admiral spawn back in through this other side as well. Let's just go and start to. Well, we don't know where the other ships actually are. We've got a wind direction coming in from the north. Time of day is morning. It's partly cloudy. The wind is calm. The sighting range is very, very long. So we'll just go and see if we can actually spot this other guy. So we're just below Italy. Sort of, let's go and press space. Just press Q. Unknown ship has now been sighted. So where do we see it? Back over here. I think, is that it? No, that's an island. Oh, there it is. There it is. Not as far off as we thought. That's the sight range there. So our ships are sort of travelling through here. We've got the group selected. So I'm going to and now we know that we're going to have a few different cruisers in through here. Let's just keep on. Let's go and start the process. Shift left click, and then we'll just unpause. We have sighted unknown ship. I'll just keep these sort of coming through. These are sort of coming through a little, like a couple of, like every so often. We should see the other ships in this group. Here we go. So unidentified ship. Now the reason that we saw this one so clearly and the other ones we didn't see all that clearly is because of the smokestack. So the other one was hidden from the smokestack. Remember, the smoke is blowing this way. So the smokestack of this ship, if I sort of zoom in on this one, is actually blowing ahead of the other one. So we only have limited information. We can see the hull sizes, like we can get an idea of the. So we know that that's the battleship, and there should be two light cruisers, and they'll be sort of in behind the smoke. So we'll keep it coming up. So we'll sort of. So we'll just do this exercise. They're moving to the north. Let's do that as well. We now have the other unidentified ship. So shift left click. Those looks like we've sort of identified all of them as being light cruisers, which is not. Now we've identified one of those being as the Naval class light cruiser, but we can see there from the hull sizes. Well, it's a bit all over the place. This one we now know. So we've got the Naval class light cruiser there. They're moving sort of like they're moving. Like we'll just keep our ships going. We're going to need to get broadside, and they're moving it slightly in around. We'll just keep it coming up. We'll just go and shift click in this direction now. So we'll sort of get our broadsides happening as well. Now this is the battleship, the Arpad class battleship. I was thinking we probably could take out one of these light cruisers before anything much really does happen. But let's go and let's just keep it coming back this way. Let's go and come back the other way. Now the Arpad is our open fire on us. So they're opening up, but it's not actually, and you can see that the splashes are fairly inaccurate. So this is the splashes in the water, on the waterline. So we'll just keep this one coming up. We now have action going in both ways here. Now what I'd like to do here is actually go and get, so the Erzog Karl has opened up on the Arpad class battleship. And so in this case we've actually got, we've also missed everywhere. We can now see the ship, and we can see for example, all the turrets that can fire on us are now pointing in our direction. And so they're all coming back in this way. Do we have our own, like at the moment, we're only firing with these two here. We don't have this third gun in action. So, so we have only limited attack. I want to get a bit closer, so before I sort of start to swing back around. So we'll then try to get the broadside. We'll just let this one continue on. It does take a bit of time to do all this. These are just slightly outside of our range. I'm going to zip around yet again, so I'm just going to go shift click and sort of start to chase this one down. Now we are firing at this one. We haven't actually hit it at all, so we're fairly inaccurate. They're firing at us as well. No one's actually hit each other just yet, but they're getting closer. They're now sort of running away from us. We've got a speed there of 16. I can actually increase the speed, so I'll go up to say 20. This will then change our accuracy and make us even more inaccurate as well. But I want to close in. The RPARD class is traveling at 15 knots, so they're trying to stabilize to get a better shot. Now we've got all these little Navaras as well. Now everyone is now firing on the. Actually, we are now. Yeah, so they're now firing on the Admiral Spawn, and we're going to probably want to now go into a situation where we can try to get some broadside. So let's just go and change direction here. We'll still keep on traveling at a fast rate. Opens fire. Yep, they're all just firing at us. And they keep on trying to avoid us. The game does a good job of managing the ships, so it's not just as if it's just a simple exercise. Let's spin around. Here we go. Now this is the RPARD has now fired at the Admiral Spawn, so at the armed cruiser. The armed cruiser has taken a turret hit, and the turret has been destroyed or disabled. Actually, let's have a bit of a look and see if we can see what it says. Destroyed. So we've now lost our J turret, and so if you have a look at the Admiral Spawn, if I go and double click on the Admiral Spawn, is it going to do it? No, it's not going to do it. If I right click on it, here we go. So this is the Admiral Spawn. So we actually now have information. We can now see the full information on this particular ship. So it's taken, actually we don't see it in here. We do get to see it if I zoom in down in here. And we'll start to sort of see damage on the ship itself. So one of the turrets, must be a small turret. There it is, that one there. So that turret there was knocked out. So that's nothing too much that we have to worry about. In fact, I think that's a torpedo launcher. So we've got the port side torpedo launcher has taken some damage with that particular shot that came in from the RPARD class. So we'll just keep it going. Now, here we go. Our ship has got less than 50% fuel remaining, so that's not great. So this battle will probably be over and done with before too much. I think what we'll do is reduce the speed down to 16 again, and just sort of keep it coming in this way. If I go and click on that one, I think I can just go and click on the actual. It's easier just doing the shift. We are closing in fairly well here. Keeping on firing. We haven't had any hits at all from our side yet. And we'll just keep it sort of spinning around. Our hull has been hit, so they've fires 5 medium guns, and one of them actually hits our hull. We're opening fire on it. We haven't had any hits ourselves yet. We'll just do that again. Okay, we did now hit the battleship, but we won't know what it is that's actually happened. So in this case, we're not seeing anything that's been knocked out, so we don't get to see anything else in through there. I can lock certain ships into play, like if we're trying to sort of see if it's getting close where something bad is happening to the ships. If I hover over my ships, we'll then get information as to the damage that's actually been caused or anything like that. But it's not really the damage, 4% on that particular one. Just keep it going. What we might do is actually leave the battle now that we're sort of running out of fuel. So that's okay, and we'll just end this particular battle, and we'll just move away back up into the home territories. So we'll just shift click away and run away from the actual combat itself. We're now outside of their range. Just let the game sort of run forward. And we should be able to now just run it out. I'll just go and fast as possible, and we'll just run 1 minute. I shall run. I'll run 9 minutes, or I can just do 0. They are closing the gap. Now that's interesting. They've actually they've lost the battleship, which is a slow-moving ship. So if we wanted to, we could now actually. I was trying to sort of just leave the battlefield, but we just really can't do that one. There's a chance we could actually go and fire at these ships now, and maybe sort of take one of these out. So let's just go and try this one. I'll just go and move that one back just down to normal speed. Not getting any hits on these ships. The guys are pretty useless at this stage. We've straddled it. And we'll just keep on trying to sort of work our way through. I don't know if I can actually just leave the battle. Like it would be... what can we do here? I don't want to get stuck playing this one for too long. What I might do is I might just set the AI to sort of run this particular one. So auto run the battle. Let's just go and do it. Do you want to run yes and order all forces to move to closest friendly base? So let's just go and do that. Let's go and click on OK. So now just wandering off, doing their own thing for a little while. They're still firing at each other. We'll just get the results of this at the end. So we saw there that fuel was actually an issue. Now is that it's now in the afternoon. When night time comes, we're going to here comes the dusk. So it's trying to, now we've lost sight. We're looking for them. Lost sight of our ship. We're back again. They're now sort of separated. No opposing ships sight each other. Scenario is over. So we can sort of see down through there what actually happened. This is the Butcher's Bill. So we had undamaged. The battleship was undamaged, and we had light damage on the armed cruiser. We did do light damage to the battleship and the two light cruisers that they had. So the armoured cruiser took some light damage, but the light cruisers were undamaged. So hardly anything really happened in there. So they end up getting a little bit of a have a little bit more with the scores that they actually ended up having, just with the damage that was then done. So we'll just go and exit the battle. Anyway, that was just a training battle, which may damage our ships. So that was just something we can do, which will then get our forces a little bit more on top of things, which is always good. Let's just go and end the turn. So we'll just go and click on the turn button down the bottom here. So this is just going to give us information about what we know about what's going on around the place. Should be able to experience with the class has shortened the construction time of the Wildfang by 1 month. So I'm just going to click on OK there. That's possibly ships under construction. Yeah, there we go. That one's now going to come a little bit earlier. So we've still got 2 months left on that one. We'll just keep things sort of thumping along. Things will then come up every so often. So I'll play a little bit more so you can sort of see what actually does happen here. We won't do any more fleet exercise. If we just go back to ships in service, sometimes they can be a little bit damaged in those things, but they seem to be pretty good. You can see there the overall speeds there of the RPAD and the Baderberg are fairly slow. The other cruisers are not too bad with what they end up having. See how the crew quality from that, doing that little bit of piece, that little bit of those exercises has actually improved the ships that participated in that. So that's something we can do. It just costs us money, that's all. And we can just set the AI to play that one out. Let's go into turn in here. Tension with Germany increases due to random tension changes. So got a little bit of, that won't be much there. Japan and Spain. So these are just sort of like little random events that have occurred. Italy is the main one that we're going to probably be wanting to push into some sort of combat. Let's just keep on going. Our ship, the Wildfang, is commissioned into the Navy, so we've now got another destroyer. A new cruiser from USA has just arrived on a goodwill visit, and the press is reporting all of its advanced tech features. A reporter approaches you for a comment. What do you say? This is actually where we can then impact the tensions that sort of are happening back over here. USA is friendly, so let's just keep it that way. So if we do this one here, you'll see down through here. If I choose this one here, well, on a higher budget, we could just advance ships have just as advanced ships as that one. We then use up one of our prestige, but we do get a bigger budget. I don't need that, and I don't want to be losing prestige. So you see when I hover over that one, budget plus, prestige minus. It's certainly a capable ship, but ours is just as good. This one here, we don't get any sort of benefit. And if that's the best they can come up with, we have nothing to fear from the USA. In this case, we end up with tension goes up with the USA, but our prestige goes up as well. Now, we can afford that with the USA. So let's go and grab another prestige. Prestige, again, is sort of like the score. So we'll just go and do that one and just go and click on OK. And click on close that one. So we're now at 21 in through here. In the USA, the tension has just risen a little bit with that one. So we're hoping to get the ones like those sorts of things with Italy, where we can actually then say bad things about Italy and sort of end up, causing this tension to rise right up. We do have intel reports. Reports there at all. Intel, I'm going to go and put in a little bit of actually with the Italians. I should be able to raise that. Why can't I raise that? The almanac, which sort of just goes through everything. Yeah, I thought I could actually change this one here. Oh, there it is. And how do I get rid of that? Oh, that's minus. There we are. What we'll do is we'll raise the we'll go to medium level on this one. It does cost me to do this, and we'll do the same with France, just up to a low level of intelligence. That way, we're going to sort of find out a little bit more about it, and so we'll end up sort of getting information about their ships. So we'll just keep that one where that is. We'll end our turn. So 3 destroyers are commissioned into the Navy. That's good. And so one of our cruisers has run aground on the shore of a minor nation while performing an illicit intelligence operation. They threaten to impound the ship. What is your reaction? And so again, we've got different things that will then sort of go back through. Demand that they release the ship and send a strong squadron to underline the point. So prestige goes up, tension goes up. We don't know who that's with. So offer sincere apologies. Prestige goes down. Let's examine the ship, even if it risks exposing. Hang on, what is this one here? One of our cruisers run aground. Let them examine the ship, even if it risks exposing sensitive technology. Let's go and do this one. Tension is going to rise. I don't know who that's with. And a pro-French coup has taken place in Norway. So a lot of stuff is now happening. We're seeing all sorts of different ships being commissioned with Great Britain and Germany. And then tensions are now rising with Great Britain and France. So these are sort of like semi-random, but with other things that then will take place. Just going and yep. So French have got an aggressive French foreign policy, which is why Norway, with the coup, Italy and France increases. Yes, okay. So France is now probably going to be the one that's going to be on their own. Just go and close that one off. Yeah, so both actually Italy and France are now, the tension is now rising quite strongly with everything that's going on. So we'll just keep it sort of thumping along. We'll just go back to ships under construction again. So we're still 10 months left for the next RPAD, which again, really with what we have, it's not fantastic. So let's just keep everything moving along here. So another destroyer. I don't need any more destroyers, I don't think. The thing with destroyers, they can actually use torpedoes, or some of them can. Yeah, so a lot of destroyers being commissioned. Now, Spain has rebuilt a ship to actually make it better than what it was. So they're actually just recommissioning ships and improving them, which we could have a look at that, but we're just not really up with anything just yet. The funds we've got are still fine, so I'll just keep them sort of coming along. Come on, we need this tension to rise. Tension was with Russia reduced with Spain. And that's reduced as well, unfortunately. Actually, no, they're still there. They're still there. That's okay. So we'll just keep it sort of thumping along. So turn by turn. Yep, tension between France and Great Britain increases. It may be that Italy and France goes to war, which actually could then end up destroying part of the Italian Navy. And I really want to get the Italian... Again, I can't directly push this into war. 3 ships are finished. They're working up. So that's good. Revolution in an African country has left some of our nationals stranded. What do? So we send a strong squadron to bombard the capital so this one tension goes up. I'm thinking this is either going to be Britain or, I don't think we can get to see who that's going to be. That one there we get budget goes up, prestige goes up, and tension goes up a lot. Join an international squadron sent in here, so budget goes up a little bit, tension goes up a little bit. Resolve the crisis via diplomatic, so prestige goes down and tension goes down. Let's go that way. I don't know who that is. Now, scientists report they have suffered a temporary setback in figuring out the concept of face hardening, all right? And research breakthrough, torpedo technology, improved hydrostatic valve, so torpedoes now have a range speed. So we've got a range at speed. So we've got these have been improved slightly, which is great. Yeah, so they're actually okay. Because they've both got tensions with us, they're actually reducing the tensions with each other. Okay, that's fine. We'll just go and close that one off. Here we go. Italy is now almost at war. So tension with Italy is now 10. So it's now sort of reaching fever pitch, which is fine. So we'll just keep it sort of thumping along. Showing itself below average. This is Admiral von Bizard. Now, we don't have the same problems that Italy has in terms of the officers. So I'm going to replace that admiral, and this one here as well is below average. Okay, reassign. Going officer. Do you want him to transfer to the officer pool? Might cost this might cost some prestige. I'll still go okay. Yeah, because this one here will actually be moving. Just move that one to the pool. So he's actually now just not going to be there, and we're going to do the same thing up through here with von Bizard. Just going to throw one of these guys in. Reassign to the Mediterranean. Here we go. It is costing us prestige to do this. That's okay. We need to make sure we've got good people in charge of everything. All the important stuff anyway. All right, that's fine. These are all starting to sort of come good as well. The crew quality is improving anyway. Now the tension has now gone up into the above that line. So this now war is going to happen here very, very soon. Close that one off. Yeah, we're down to 21 prestige, but we're still above the 16. Okay, so USA is getting some things through there. A world cruise for our young cadets is planned. What ships should take part? So if we go this way here, prestige and tension goes up. Some of our average ships or some of our older ships. Where I'll go this way here. And our scientists report they're working on problems of reliable pendulum, but success has so far eluded them. So we're still above there. We'll just click on close. Austria has chosen war. Here we go. So Austria, Hungary and Italy are now in a state of war. So war has now been declared. And so it's the year 1901, I think now. Was it still 1900? Maybe the end of 1900. So if we just go and click on OK. So we're now in a state of war, as you can sort of see through here. France is also, the tension with France is still fairly bad. So now what will happen is the game will now start to it will start to promote different issues, like where there'll be different things will happen, depending on what actually goes on. The government will decide what the objectives for the war actually are, and what we have to do is then support those objectives. So if there are, like everything is they're all active, they're all in the Mediterranean, so everything is sort of looking good, except that we just don't have, we've only got the 3 battleships. And so, and they're not going to be all that great. So we need to get this dock size up, and then we need to start to build some bigger ships. We've got this is the total build capacity of our docks. This is the total displacement of ships currently building at your docks, and then we have remaining free capacity. So we can build more ships up. At this point, we've got 18,000. I think what I'll do is I'm probably going to end up having to fight most of the war when I go across and play the rest of this over on, or the next part of this, on the Slytherin channel or the Matrix channel. I might just have a quick look and see if anyone's responded back, because it's only an hour away before I'm streaming over there. I'll just have a quick look and see. No one's responded back. So I'm thinking I'll be on the Slytherin channel, if that's the case. Yep, that's about all I can do, I think. I'll have to have a look. So I won't know 100% where I'm going to be just yet, but that's in about an hour's time. I'll be streaming back over there. So I'll probably give myself like a bit of a breather. So we probably won't start much in here at this stage. What we might do is to design a bigger ship. I've got 1,300 that I can go and do. It's going to take a long time to get these. Maybe we go even with the more armed cruisers. The guns do different things. In fact, let's go and maybe finish this off with just a bit of a ship design. So I'm just going to go across into design ship. And I'm going to change this one just to an armed cruiser. So an armed cruiser in through here. Now the displacement, I can sort of increase this. So I'm going to make the displacement fairly large. Let's just say, let's just see if we can do the 1,300. I don't know if it'll do it. Horsepower goes down when we do that. What about 1,200? Maybe 10 is about as good as we're going to get. 10 is certainly bigger than what we have. If I sort of move that one out of the way, we've got 8,000 at the moment with the armed cruisers. So these are sort of like mini battleships. Actually, I'll make it 1,300. So I can also decide, like I can get Great Britain to build them up to 1600 for me, and I'd have to then pay them to do it. But let's go in. Let's try 1200 as a starting point. So the freeboard. Now I'll just go through what each of these different things are. So the we'll just go and we've got the displacement at this stage. Now it may be that this is actually not the game doesn't allow an armored cruiser to be this heavy. That may be what it is at this time of the game. So if I go into the freeboard, if I hover over this one, it should tell me what they all are. I'm hoping. Yeah, ships with low freeboard lose more speed in bad weather and are more sensitive to flooding. But we're in the Mediterranean, so we end up the normal or low. Low we can get away with, and you'll see what happens with the cost and the weight. So if we go back to low, it's not going to change that one. When does it change? It changes. I think it changes the what you can fit inside it. The speed. This is actually going to then be the engine speed. Let's get up to, say, 20 knots. You can see there the horsepower required to get to 20 knots is fairly high. I think now it will actually then go and show. This is the machinery weight, back into here in the machinery cost. If I just go back to normal, yeah, see how the weight now is changing with normal versus low. So I can actually save a lot by just keeping it with a low freeboard, which means it's sort of just suitable for Mediterranean combat. The 20 knots, now if I go even higher, let's make it say 22, just to really sort of thump it out there. The range as well. Now the range is actually, this is the range of ships, this affects primarily the radar and trade protection abilities of the ship. Now we're only going to be operating in the Mediterranean, so short range is fine for us. We don't need it to go any further. If I go to medium, we then have to put in more tonnage to as we sort of go out to much longer range. They just need to have more supplies. But short range just means we can't stay on station for very long. But we're actually on station anyway because we're right here in the Mediterranean. So for Mediterranean use, this actually works in very, very well with our overall weight. The engine priority is just going to be normal. I think I'll keep it like a hybrid between speed and reliability. That will be good. And then the propulsion, we only really have coal and the VTE. I don't think we've got the coal and turbine. I don't think we've got any of these, like gas turbines. These will come later. Coal and turbine. I'm pretty sure we don't have that. I'll see what happens if I can select that one. I think it saves me a little bit of weight. Yeah, just a little bit of machinery weight there. We'll just go that way. This is the armor. This is really important. But I might come back to this one. The belt armor, I'd like this one to be fairly high, like at around about, say, 10 inches. So that's also just going to add a lot to the weight of the ship. The belt extended, so the belt coverage is just going to be normal. So that's just going to sort of go around the actual ship itself. Let's go back to guns. And so if we go back into here, the big guns are really quite important. And we're going to end up with the gun data is going to give me information about what each gun can actually then go and do. So at different ranges, this is the armor penetration table. So we end up with like the armor piercing belt and then deck. We end up, you see how this changes? The further away we fire, the more chance we have of it actually hitting the deck because it's actually lobbing in rather than going sort of short. And so in this case, firing against the Italians, where we end up sort of, because they don't actually have, from what we could see there, they don't have much deck armor, that may be worth trying to keep long range. Now, SAP belt, I'm not sure what that is. SAP, I'm not sure what the SAP actually is. I forget what that is now. The ship has no immunity against 12-inch guns, firing armor piercing. Sorry, that's the actual armor penetration table for our ship. But anyway, like firing at long range is going to be good for us. I think what we'll do is we'll go and place the guns. What I can do is just, I'm sort of going to be running out of time, so I'm just thinking I might just go and get the AI to auto-design a ship and then we tweak it. That way at least we're going to get everything sort of started off. Let's do that. So let's just go and auto-design the ship. Just going to click on OK. And so you can see down through here, it's only got like a single guns. Let's just go. Now these are the gun here is only 10-inch guns. If I go and change this one to say 12,000, is that going to do it? It did change the look of it. And then we've got the different. Go to 8-inch in through that side. 11-inch guns, 12-inch guns. We'll go that way. Quality X is that caliber is unavailable. So we have -1 there. I sort of want to get down to where we end up having. At 6, we end up with 0 quality. So the 6-inch guns are sort of working well. 11-inch, I can still have -1 quality. So this is this actually does have a bearing. The 6-inch caliber over through here with all of these are important. So this one is the first time that we actually get 0 quality, which essentially means that we can fire more effectively with the 6-inch guns, and that's going to be useful. So that will actually be okay. Our total tonnage is 10,000 now. So I could actually bring that one down. Could make this one even bigger. 21. Weight remaining. We're now 400 over. That's 800. Just to get that extra knot does take a lot. The belt extended. Yep, that's okay where we are. The freeboard, I'll make it low again. That saves me a fair bit of weight in through there. I can always improve and just increase this one here. I think I'll just keep that where that is. Actually, I wouldn't mind getting. These are only guns per turret there. If we go back into cross-deck fire, so it allows wing turrets. Yeah, we don't need that. There should be a fire control with just the central rangefinder. That's all we're going to have. Rounds per gun, 100. It's not a hell of a lot. That turret there. I would like to get double turrets. How are we going to do this? I forget where this one actually shows. Yeah, turret era. So we are dreadnought. We don't need anti-aircraft. Yeah, the guns per turret. I should be able to change that. Yeah, we've got these different positions as well. There we go. Yeah, so I can try some of these. If we just go back and just get rid of the forward one, which is going to be a turret, we'll delete that turret and add a turret in the front. So this will be forward, and it's going to be I'll try triple and see what actually happens. It did allow it, but whether that will actually work or not, I don't know. It's sort of, hang on, triple turrets are not researched, yeah, so we don't actually have that one. So in that case, I don't know if I can double click. Actually, here we go. I can decrease guns. There we go, 2. I think we're okay there. So we've still now got a double turret there. Go and increase the guns here. And so we've now got these positioned. So these are sort of like mini battleships now. 11,000. We've still got a bit of weight remaining. So I'll keep the displacement at, say, 1,200. What else could we do? The extended belt, upper belt, turrets. Let's make the turrets a little bit more secure. So we've got 400 in through here. Turret tops. Let's make them a little bit more secure as well. Still got 300. Still travelling at 20. If we go to 21, we then go well over. Oh, range. We don't need the range. Short range. That gives me even more. Can that go to 21? No, still can't do it. And then we do have the coal. Yeah, I didn't think we had the coal plus turbine, so I'll leave that one where that is. belt to 10. Yep, that works. So set B value for T and CT. That's okay. Conning tower. Yep, there we go. So that actually just sets the belt value for the turrets and conning tower, which only gives me 12 weight remaining. So that one's actually okay. So this is the new stat, which should be fine. So we'll just go and leave that one there. So we're going to be able to then, this will be almost like a hybrid if we can do it. We'll save and finish this one. Battleship, change type and continue. It's because of the size. I'll click on OK. A short range, which might limit operational usefulness as low freeboard. Yep, that's okay. So it's gone to pre-dreadnought battleship. You want to start developing the design for construction? Yep, so we go yes. So this one is actually, this has been changed from classification is now a battleship. It's still going to be reasonable with what we have. I think I'll still allow, yeah, we'll still let this one go. I'll just go yes there. So we're sort of like starting to now design that particular ship. So that ship will now sort of be in the design phase, which is not showing up in through here. Ships under construction. We've got a design study for the new stat. Now this is going to be a 12,000 tons displacement. So we'll wait for that one to occur. That's going to be 3 months, and then we'll start to construct some of those, I think. So ships in service, yep, they're all okay. Well, I think I'll leave it here. What I'll do is I'll just do a save, just so while we're here. And I'll then just go and end the turn, because we will now actually start to have action with what's actually going on through there. So actually I should move my head down as well. I'll just have to try to remember that, to do that one underneath everything else in through there. If I end the turn, we now end up having the various, there'll be different things that will then be happening. There could be invasions going on. There could be things needing to be transported. There could be all sorts of things. If I just end the turn, we can have a look. So we have 0 ships on trade protection duties, but 2 are required. This will give victory points to the enemy and might hurt your prestige. Continue anywhere, no. So what I need to do is I now need to protect the trade that we have. So if I go back to my ships in service, so we needed to have at least 2 ships protecting trade. So what I'll do is I'll put a small group of destroyers in that capacity. So if I just go back and click on this one through here, this will be into trade protection. I'll put, say, 4 into trade protection. There we go, all the ones that are not all that great. So they're just going to be sort of protecting the trade ships. So we'll end our turn here. Actually, I'll save again. Now we'll end our turn. And so now we actually have cruiser action. So this is actually now going to be cruisers. So this is the total area, our own forces in the area, 3 battleships, 2 armoured cruisers, 3 light cruisers and 20 destroyers. They've actually got they've also got, this is their full force in this area. It's an unexpected battle. So this is, the location is Dalmatia, the enemy is Italy. So if we go and generate the battle now, it will then sort of start the process. And so it's only a cruiser battle, which means we're only using some of the cruisers. So we don't know what they've got. So the enemy strength assessment, so estimated enemy strength in the area is that, but the expected enemy forces in the battle are 3 light cruisers and 1 destroyer. What we have is we've just got 2 armoured cruisers, which should be more powerful than their light cruisers. There's also, there will be, depending on how close we get to various locations, that will then sort of go up and give. Now, if we decline, we give the enemy 300 victory points, but we're not going to do that. So it's an unexpected battle. No changes are possible. So we can't sort of tweak anything that's actually going on here. I can't add ships in. If it was like a more of a prepared battle, we would be able to then go and do that one. So over through here we have the war results, which I'm now covering, or everything back up. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that one through there. Now we do have a target, invasion. Can't change that one as well. Yeah, there we go. So great boost up. We're saying right click the turret. Yeah, thank you. So the new auto features, we covered them at the start. So I'll probably cover them again when I go to Slytherin just to sort of show them off. But again, this will be probably where we sort of end up going. So if we go in and start, we accept this one here. We then go into the actual combat itself. Now we have, this is our 2 armoured cruisers. And if we have a look down here, what have we got down this way? That is, now I'm assuming that's one of theirs. But it can't be red. Like that's Seal Bravo. Not sure what's going to happen there. Let's have a look. The Admiral Spawn, I think, will be the flagship. This one here isn't as good. Look at the design of it. I should be redesigning these. This one's actually a good ship, but this one doesn't look to be. So we'll end up, we've just got the wind, sorry, I've got the hiccups. Got the wind coming back out this other side. Let's just go and end the turn. So we'll just go and press space. This is the objectives, reports. We'll just go back to the log. Unknown ship sighted. Down here. Alright, so we'll now just go and grab this group and start to move down because that's where the fight will then be. So we'll just go shift and then click. Now the wind is blowing this way, so if this ship's behind it, we should pick it up fairly soon. Yep, there it is. And there should be 3 of these. Now we're just travelling at 12 knots. Cruise speed is up to 20, but I'll just go. I'll just keep it on 12. I want to be as accurate as possible with the firing because we should have better firepower ultimately with our ships. Just let them keep it. There's 4 ships. It's only supposed to be 3. They may run. Let's let them run away. Yeah, they're running. We're not going to get a chance to fight these. Well, that was a bit of a letdown. That's what can happen in the battles. There's Taranto there. I'm expecting that they would maybe go back to Bari. You've got the light cruisers as well. They weren't supposed to be part of what we were doing either. Let's just keep it coming. Just press enter again. Just get the maximum distance. It's under AI control, that one. They both will be. That's what the sort of showing through that side. So I can't actually change what that one's doing. It's just doing its own thing. We're only really in control of this one. So we'll try to work in closely with that one. We do have glare. Comes the night time. So this combat will be a nothing, a non-event. It's cloudy. It's still afternoonish. Here we go. It's now night time. Nighttime battles can be fairly hectic. Lost sight of them. Well, it's not going to happen here, I don't think. Just change direction there. They're just hugging the coast. One run aground. Don't know what that one's doing. Well, we might as well go back home. I guess there's nothing much really for us to do here. And we'll just speed it up. And then we should get an end of battle fairly soon. Here we go. So nothing happened in that one at all. Yeah, so we had 4. They had 4 as well. Ultimately, it's nothing much to exit that battle. There was no points, no victory points either side. At least even if you go in and actually run away, you still actually get some points for it. Now I'm going to have to leave it here, guys. So new training applied. Crews are now deemed proficient in the new tactics. That's good. So new docks are now completed. That's great. So we now have the new size. France has completed the different one, an armed cruiser at 11,000. The largest armed cruiser in the world, 11,400. That's interesting. So we were slightly off with what we could then go and build with the armed cruisers. So this is the trade war summary. Nothing much is really happening. The enemy gains 100 victory points for blockading us. So there's a blockade somewhere. Just go and close that one off. And yeah, so the rumours that Italian scientists have trouble mastering the principles of 6-foot rangefinder. That's good. So they're sort of struggling a little bit. Just go and close that one off. And so we'll leave it here, guys. And I'll be over on the Slytherin channel in around about 35 minutes. I'm assuming it'll be the Slytherin channel. If I'm not there, I'll be on the somehow the Matrix channel will be up and running. But that is a new channel, so I'm not exactly sure. Probably going to be safer just to go straight to the Slytherin channel. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll catch you over there if you're available. Thanks for watching.